So, of course, we all saw that massive sell-off in crypto yesterday, Bitcoin dropping to the $30,000 level. Let's start with just your reaction.
My reaction is it's a little more of the same of what we've seen over the last couple of months, which is that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but we'll talk about Bitcoin as a leading indicator, are really being treated as risk on, risk off assets. And I think the correlation between the broader market movements have been quite strong of late. And I think that's really what we're seeing more than anything else.
And for a long time, crypto was thought to be, something to head to when we do see volatility in the broader market. So is that narrative now changing? Is it shifting at all?
I think it's a great question, Pip. And I think the narrative has to change because, and maybe the answer depends upon what your time horizon is, but certainly in the last couple of months, the correlation has just been too strong to ignore. And you're right. A year ago, part of the argument in favor of cryptocurrencies and the defense, if you will, was that it's a perfect hedge against inflation. And I think outside of the terrible war that we're seeing in the Ukraine, the other big macro trend has been fear of inflation and fear ultimately of a recession, interest rates rising, et cetera. And I think that's been a perfect storm weighing in on cryptocurrency. I do still believe longer term you will see a disconnect from some of the other market trends, but of late it's undeniable that there's been a very strong correlation here.
And with these macro factors that are influencing the price of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, given that some of them are longer term headwinds like, the war in Ukraine, we don't know when that's going to end, inflationary pressures, do you anticipate 30K as holding for support, or do you think that prices could fall below that level?
I don't have a crystal ball, and I think what the markets have taught us of late is that it's really hard to predict. I think most of us thought we'd see green all day on the screen and not see this whipsaw that we've seen in the equity markets. It feels to me like we're sniffing around for a bottom here. It feels to me like we're getting to a point of capitulation. I think what you're seeing certainly in the crypto markets is a lot of momentum and speculative investors who are getting flushed out here. We see from our business standard custody and trust a lot of interest coming from institutions. We just had a very large prospective investor come in today who feels like it's the bottom and they're looking to move into the space. And so I do think there's a lot of pent up demand. I keep reminding myself when I do my own gut check here is that the longer term fundamentals have really remained unchanged. There's nothing that we've learned fundamental to the crypto long term story that I think has changed over the last couple of months here. We have the advantage of seeing what institutions are doing day in, day out, and big major institutions globally believe in the long-term trend, not only around the underlying blockchain technology, but more importantly, around digital assets. We are in the process of really rewriting a new operating system for capital markets. And I think that longer-term thesis will ultimately prevail and that the higher quality tokens and assets will prevail as well.
And then just finally here, there's been a lot of analyst calls for the second half of 2022 to see a rebound in crypto. And of course, you don't have a crystal ball, but is that what you forecast as well? Do you think that we will see a turnaround?
Unquestionable. I think the hodlers are going to remain steady. That's certainly what I've been doing. And as I said, if anything, I think the real money that's going to be coming into the space views this market drawdown as a real opportunity for the longer term. So I remain very, very bullish.